Hello, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm gonna talk about domain names. I did a Google search earlier, tried to see what's the most commonly asked question. And one of those questions were, can I own a domain name forever? In other words, can I buy a domain name one time and always own that domain? So the quick answer to that question is no, you cannot. Domain names are purchased yearly or renewed yearly. So you can buy it, but you will not be able to own it forever. Because you have to constantly renew it. So in a way you can, but you cannot because you have to constantly pay for it year to year. Some websites or some registrars, such as GoDaddy, Namecheap, Enom, there's a bunch of them. They may allow you to buy it for up to 10 years in advance. So you can go in there, and if you have a really good website, a really good domain name, you can buy it up for 10 years, in advance, which is great because you don't have to renew it or get reminded to renew it. But if you buy on a year-to-year basis, make sure your credit card is up to date on file. That way, when it's time for renewal, they will automatically charge your card, and it gets renewed. So here's some things to consider when you do get a domain name. Make sure that when you do get a domain, that you buy it yourself, because the website or the hosting that a web developer builds for you is something separate. And what they do is they build you the website, and they will then ask you for domain access so they can associate the domain name with your website. So the two are not always mutually the same because they're two different products. Hosting is a higher fee than a domain yearly fee. So hosting, they usually charge monthly. Domain name is yearly. So when you do get your domain, the best thing to do is buy it under your name, under your email, and then when you hire a web developer to build you the website, you can delegate access to them so they can connect the two together. And keep in mind that if you do decide to give your web developer permission to buy the domain name for you, you want to make sure that that person is going to be around in 2, 3, or 4 or 5 years. Because once the domain name expires and you cannot get a hold of that person, you will lose your domain. And this happened just recently. I had a merchant, a business owner, that had given all access, or in other words, had the web developer do everything from A to Z, build the website, buy the domain name, and do everything. And now they cannot get a hold of their web developer, and they cannot make changes to their website, and they cannot do any updates. So in other words, they lost access to their domain and their hosting. Everything is pretty much not in their control no more. So very important just to kind of go over everything. You cannot own a domain name forever. You have to renew it every year. But some registrars allow you to buy it for up to 10 years in advance. And when you do get a domain name, my recommendation is to buy it yourself, and then you can delegate access your domain to your web developer to build you the website. And make sure that your web developer, if you do decide to give him permission to buy you the domain name for you as well, that you know that he'll be around, or he or she'll be around for the next few years or 5-10 years. And that's it for today. If you have any questions or comments, leave it below and subscribe for our next video. Thank you.